Most fire extinguishers for home use are designated as effective against three kinds of fires: Type A, Type B, and Type C. Type A fires are the most common fires, typically burning wood, paper, or plastic. Your ABC extinguisher will be effective against that type of fuel source. Type B fires are caused by combustible and flammable liquids. If a grease fire occurs, I would recommend covering it with a lid and removing it from the heat before using an extinguisher. If you have to use an extinguisher, please have someone call 911 while in use or shortly after utilizing an extinguisher. If an ABC extinguisher must be used on a grease fire, stand as far away from the flame as possible and move slowly toward the fire. Fire extinguishers are heavily pressurized, and using a fire extinguisher too close to a grease fire could spread the flames. Type C fires are often caused by an overheated electrical motor, faulty appliance, or short circuit. A fire extinguisher is effective in putting out these fires. However, it is very important that the power to the source of the flame is turned off as quickly as possible. A fire extinguisher is a great tool to use against fires. It's even more effective when used with an installed and regularly maintained smoke detector. Fire extinguishers are for small fires. Before using a fire extinguisher, be sure to know where your exit or escape route is. If you are unsure if your fire extinguisher can extinguish the fire, get out of the house and call 911.
Very good, very good.
Nicely done. Everybody's ready? Call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the Kildare Hills Board of Commissioners. Thank you all for coming out. Would you please stand and pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, and if you would, please join me for a moment of silence. So much. BJ is not going to be able to be here today since he had a conflict. We have an agenda before you, in your packet. Questions, thoughts?
Mayor, move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Excellent. We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we hear any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We have an agenda. First item on the agenda is public comment. Most folks here know the rules. 3 minutes, 5 for a group. You have to identify yourself and where you live. We do have someone signed up. It is Julie Robinson.
Hello again.
Hello.
It's good to be back. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. I have 2 reasons that I'm here tonight speaking. First, I just want to thank the members of the Planning Board, Meredith and Cameron from the Planning Department, and Ivy Ingram on the Board of Commissioners for moving forward with the new ordinance for dune protection. So I really thank you for that. Secondly, I'm not going to be here in August, and I think that's when the public hearing is going to be set. So I just wanted to come tonight and just ask you to please consider voting in favor of the new ordinance when it's presented to you for a vote. For those of you who haven't had a chance to visit the property, I did bring some before and after photos for you to look at tonight, just to let you see the impact that you will make if you do vote in favor of the ordinance and put a stop to this massive amount of construction on the dunes in Kill Devil Hills. So I'd like to start. This one you may have seen before, but I want to start by showing you this one because this one very clearly shows the amount of vegetation that was on the dune before the construction took place, and then the amount of what it looks like now with the construction there. Show show that to you all as well. The next one is actually a drone shot of a before and after. And the drone shot also shows you, this is the area that is now under construction. And you can see the way the contours of the dune there, as well as the amount of vegetation that was there before. And then here is where the new construction is on top of the dune. You can see how much of the sand has been mined, how much of the vegetation has been removed, and how the contour of the dune has been changed. And this one, this is another drone shot, which again shows the property before and after. This showing, again, the ocean side with the amount of vegetation, and then I think this one's this way. The vegetation that's here, and then the construction that's there. So you can really see the changes when you look at these photographs. And I think that's important to see. Because even if you look at the ordinance that's currently in place, it just seems that this should never have happened. I mean, if you read section B of the ordinance that's currently in place, it says, this section is adopted to permit development that is compatible with the environmentally sensitive nature of sand dunes and to preserve the dunes in their existing state, where such dunes are considered a vital protective barrier against wind, flood, and erosion. And more specifically, to preserve and protect the heritage of the town by maintaining the existence of natural and constructed dunes, to protect the health, safety, and welfare of persons living, visiting, or sojourning to and in the town, and for the protection of public and private property, and to protect the interest of persons whose property would be detrimentally affected by the destruction or removal of oceanfront or inland dunes. So that's the current wording. I think that wording is still going to be in there. But when you hear that and then you see the photos, you think, how could this happen? And in fact, I've had several people that have walked up there to look, and they've just been flabbergasted, outraged that this was allowed to occur. As you can see in these photos, the dunes that were there were not protected. The existing contour has been altered, and the vegetation, which you could clearly see that was there before, has been destroyed. The interest of our property and other adjacent property owners has also been detrimentally affected in many ways because of this. The view of the dune is blocked from our property looking. If you look north, you see beautiful dune lawns with gazebos and decks and that sort of thing. If you look south, you just see the construction. We went to the new Marriott Bar restaurant the other night, and if you look at this one, if you're looking south, this is what you see from that bar. If you look north, this is what you see. So it's not just, even though it's very personal to me, it's not just about me and my property. This is affecting others in the community as well, and visitors as well. The enclosed structures on the dune block the southwest breezes. And you know that those are the prevailing winds that we have in the summer. The structures have also changed the way the sand is collected and distributed on the top of the dune. We've noticed it on our property, and especially on the empty lot next door. The contour of the dune up there is very different because of those huge structures right there. But most importantly, and I want to emphasize this, most importantly to me, even though it is very personal, the change in the contour of the dune and the lack of vegetation has altered the integrity of the dune system. And because of this, as stated in the current ordinance, it constitutes a serious threat to adjacent properties that depend on the dune for protection. In addition, if you think about the problems associated with climate change, such as more dangerous and impactful storms, and the threat of sea level rise, it poses another serious environmental threat. These structures being built on the dunes so close to the ocean, as I've mentioned before, could become undermined and at the risk of falling onto the beach or washing into the ocean. We've seen this happen in Rodanthe, Duck, and Corolla. It's a safety risk, and I know it would be a litigation nightmare, which I'm sure the town of Kill Devil Hills does not want to have to deal with. So I'm asking you tonight, as I've asked before, but especially tonight with the new ordinance coming forward for you to vote, to please vote in favor of it, with an expectation that the ordinance will be strictly enforced and will make it equal for everyone, residents, developers alike. A vote in favor will not put a stop to development or to the construction of elevated beach access walkways and decks, but it will put a stop to massive development on top of the dune system, and it will provide the preservation and protection of the dunes that this town is actively committed to. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well put, here. Anyone else interested in public comment? I'd like to give people a few minutes to consider. We also have a second public comment period at the end of the meeting. Seeing nobody approach, we will close public comment. Any response to public comment?
I just want to ask, Julie, is it possible for us to get copies to show BJ of your photographs since he's not? I just think it would be good for him to see the difference. So maybe I can take pictures of them and just get them to him somehow.
Julie, or if you also have electronic ones, we can send them to all the board members. If you want, email them to me.
And that's the
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, been out there the first time in the winter and saw what was going on, and we had that conversation about changing the wind patterns. It has everything to do with the movement of sand and natural way those things are supposed to work. That's looking forward to seeing exactly what you have in mind. So, all right. Next item on the agenda, any ongoing business that's not mentioned?
No, sir.
All right, then we will jump into new business. We have the recommendation for the engineering design for the 2024-2025 street drainage and right-of-way improvement projects.
Mr. Mayor and Board of Commissioners and town staff, I'm Patrick Lewis with American Engineering, and I brought up the brains and brawn behind our organization, Miss Emily Zeltman, who does the majority of the design work on our projects for us. We appreciate the opportunity to present this to the town, and we look forward to being able to assist the town in continuing to remove the poor rated streets, as well as improve the drainage infrastructure and water infrastructure within the town. And with that, if there are any questions, we're here to answer them tonight.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it kind of in your own words for the benefit of the public that often listens to these things online. Try to explain for folks in the lay public the improvements that will come upstream from the pipe improvements.
Sure. So the area of Memorial leads to an outfall in the ocean that has a potential during coastal storms to get blocked. These improvements will actually improve the drainage and pull a little bit of that water out of that outfall and run it to a separate outfall so that in the future, a storm is not going to be as likely to inundate that area with stormwater flooding. There'll be more capacity and it'll be going to a different outfall, which will relieve some of the stress that's there. That'll improve the conditions that are in that area, as well as part of the project being to remove asbestos cement water mains that are part of the town's initiative to replace those. And then there's almost a mile of poorly rated streets in this project, which will get them repaired to the level they need to be to where they can just be maintained from here on in the future. So many different ways this is going to improve.
Yeah, a lot
The
of
drainage.
knock-on effects and very efficient to do it all at once. I guess I was trying to visualize in my mind what is upstream of those that capacity that's going to be split. It comes from across the bypass too, yeah?
Yes, it comes from across the bypass. And Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've got a very large drainage area within the town I can't remember exactly where the borders are, but it's a very large drainage area in the town that's going to actually be relieved of some of the stress from the single pipe that's on the other parallel street. So we're going to potentially double and even triple the capacity of the piping system to be able to handle water flow in that area in a storm event. And it's sock drain pipe, which is going to help to pull the water table down so that you'll have additional storage capacity in the soil in the event you have a shorter duration storm that still has quite a bit of rain, prevent a lot of that runoff from getting anywhere in the first place. So
Gotcha. I feel like I just barely understand it, so I'm always trying to help the public understand, how many people are affected positively by this. It's neighborhoods on the west side. It's the point at which these systems are necessary when we have a certain volume of water coming out of the sky that needs to be moved out of the area. We'll be able to handle bigger, these more frequent and heavier storms that we've been seeing over the last 10 and 15 years. It seems to be on the increase. So when you say double the capacity, triple that, that's a really great bit of relief that I think we'll see from these projects.
Yeah, everything west side from Ocean Acres to the schools comes east to the Memorial Ditch, and then either out one of the drought falls or north up to Woodmere now. So this will give a second north-south run to get us to Goddard Street.
Yeah, I mean, my old business was in that neighborhood and definitely had flooded a number of times where it was above Wrightsville Avenue and just, your standard 10-year 2-hour storm, anything over 4 or 5 inches in a couple of hours will take out that whole neighborhood for a couple of days. So that sort of thing will be a thing of the past in that size of a storm, I would imagine. Yep.
yes.
Good news. I can only lower my insurance after that. Any other questions from the board about these projects?
Yeah.
I think
Great.
we're for a motion there.
I'll make a motion to, for the recommendations for the 24-25 Wrightsville project group street drainage and right-of-way improvements. Would you like me to list
You can just say as presented in the town
as
manager's.
presented?
Thank you.
Excellent. We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you for all the hard work. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
I know we've been talking about that one for a few years.
Yep.
And it's a big ticket
Oh,
item.
yeah.
And I know we've done a lot of work to make sure that we're doing it as efficiently as possible. It's exciting to see it getting this close. Next item of new business is Chapter 130, General Offenses, 130.75. Has to do with skateboard and skating parks. We're going to make some amendments to that to add water park rules and guidelines. That was in your packet. Any questions? Did you have any other comments about it?
Just to reiterate the fact that the water park is currently open. We're doing a very soft opening, working out any glitches. And so far, it appears to be extremely popular. So,
I went over there
You did?
and took my grandkids over there,
Oh,
and not just the splash pad, but the whole
Whole park,
park
yeah.
is just, I mean, all the vegetation, the guys did a great job. And I was so impressed that I stood there and I said, is this really Kildovo Hills? And, the restroom facilities, all the playground equipment. I mean, the place is phenomenal. If you haven't been there, try to get by there. Excellent job. Outstanding.
I'm sure that it's on the list of things to put the video crew in front of.
oh, yeah.
Forward to seeing. That'll be a fun one probably to shoot, and a really great one to see. We'll hopefully get by there myself.
Yeah, I
And
took my 13-year-old and even she was like, oh my God.
All
She
right.
couldn't believe it. It's so
It's
much
been
fun.
Really cool.
It's very cool.
And when I went over there was a couple of staff people there, and even Meredith was over there checking up on them, making sure that they didn't need anything. I mean, so the commitment from the staff, you know, to make sure it's pristine. Yeah, it was good. Place was pretty busy.
It's been a very long, difficult project with the supply chain issues
Oh, yeah.
that stemmed from COVID. Just, I just don't have the words to say for the remarkable job our staff did.
That had
Yeah.
fantastic. And still more to come, right, Meredith? More equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And they just happen to be located next to the best firehouse around.
Right.
We're
And
making great progress on that.
yes. So, and a shout out to all the different or not vendors, but the construction people that helped us. Awesome job. So.
Very nice.
Yes, yes.
Go by there and look at it. You'd be proud.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Cars in the shops, keeping me from a lot of things. That's something. All right, so we have some new rules in there, pretty straightforward. I think you guys all saw it. Nice that it was kind of grouped together with other like, you know, at your own risk, caution, skateboarding, you still want to, you know, do not drink the water, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So, anybody have any other feedback about how that was written, or are we ready to move forward on that?
Good job.
Staff did a great job on
Yeah.
amending it without making it overly complicated.
Yep.
Cut that good line in between.
Mhm. That
Necessary
looks great.
without being overdone. Yep.
Mayor, I'll make a motion of approval for Chapter 130, General Offenses, Ordinance 130.75. Skateboard, skating park / amend to add water park rules and guidelines as presented in staff's memo.
Excellent. So we have a motion on the floor from Mr. Lindley.
I'll second.
And a second from Ms. Ingram. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Excellent work again. We'll keep everybody safe. Hopefully we won't have to enforce any of those rules because hopefully nobody will break any of those rules. Next item is committee reports. I always forget what date your meetings are.
So the Board of Tourism does not meet in July, so it'll won't meet again until August. But I do believe they are working on a ribbon cutting for the sidewalk.
Yes, when
Eventually, I did get that message
Yes.
from them. So I don't know when that'll be, but at some point.
kind of hoping to get all of that area there at Collington
Yeah.
completed
Mhm.
before we do anything like
DOT
that.
Yes.
agreed to do some improvements, so
Great.
about the last 20 feet of it is incomplete, waiting for curb and gutter
It's part of the
Okay.
project.
that,
Yeah.
Great.
that they were doing at the end of last month, but then it got pushed, so.
Yeah.
We're constantly
Yeah.
getting updates and hope it'll be done soon.
Perfect.
And then it'll be complete to be able to walk.
To do something official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
Okay.
also trying to
Cool.
get a pedestrian push button to cross Collington.
Great.
Right now it crosses 158,
Yes.
but it doesn't cross
Okay.
Collington. So
Awesome.
we had a few more things in the fire.
Perfect.
Hopefully it'll be done expeditiously.
It has been nice to see it being used so much already.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are on that
Yes.
thing.
It's getting a
Especially
lot of
the-
use. Yeah.
A lot of our J1 workers who are you get to work it back a lot safer now. So
Yeah.
it's doing its job really well.
Great to get that done. I know how hard it is to get things through DOT, like this, the little button, I know that's. Orion to get that done.
We're working on it.
It's good they're working with it on that. Any other committee reports? It's
None here.
a quiet time of the year when it comes to committee stuff. Commissioner's agenda.
Nothing here, Mayor. I'm good.
I just wanted to say thanks for everyone involved with the fireworks. It was,
Yes.
it was amazing.
Yes, good job.
Yeah.
Not get marble mouth as much as I usually do.
It's great.
Mayor, you had requested that I follow up with James David with the National Fitness Campaign. And it appears after getting a little bit involved in this that it's a for-profit organization. And I have actually turned it over to Cameron Ray because Cameron does such a great job with grant programs, and that's what it is. And they seem to hire ambassadors, trainers, consultants, and stuff like that. And the town would probably, and I'm guessing here, probably have to upfront some funds, but they would help with, assistance. But Cameron's going to check it out and then get back to us and let us know. So that's where that's at. He's got a meeting, I think, set up with him, maybe even tomorrow.
This week sometime.
Yeah.
I was on that email too.
Yeah.
Thanks
So,
for chasing that down and.
yeah, no problem.
Cameron jumping on it because, yeah. it seems like
Cameron's
there's
the
a lot.
best guy. He does great with that stuff.
Yeah. It's hard to know in context how that fits in with a whole bunch of other things.
That's right. That's
Don't wanna
right.
miss a chance on,
No,
free
no,
money, but also it might not be a good fit, so I don't want to judge it
that's right.
out of that view. So,
He'll make sure and figure it out.
if it's
Yeah.
good for us or it won't, we'll know we did the homework.
That's right. But that's where it's at right now.
Thank you for working on that.
No problem.
That does it for commissioner's agenda. On mayor's agenda, I wanted to mention, well, I have to mention about the splash pad, because we talked about it a good bit. The note I got said, it's begun phase testing. Can't be tested and approved.
Mhm.
Our youngest citizens and visitors seem to really like it.
And Michael.
Michael.
Michael liked it.
Also didn't want to forget that First Light Market is tomorrow.
Right.
So I hope the weather cooperates for everyone.
Supposed to be nice.
Must be
Looks
nice,
like-
right?
10 to 2
You never know, 10 to 2, that's right.
Yeah.
Check the
For
media.
thunderstorms.
before
Mhm.
Yes.
All right, so that brings us to the town manager's agenda.
Nothing this evening, sir.
All right, I know you have the town attorney, I think, is out, but I don't think you have anything.
No,
to
sir. No, sir.
do. Next time is the consent agenda.
Yes, sir. The first item on the consent agenda is the minutes from the June 28th, 2023, the monthly report for May 2023, and lastly, to schedule the public hearing for the proposed zoning amendment for the Dune Protection Modified Regulations for Development within Dune Systems. Requesting the Board of Commissioners schedule this public hearing for Monday, August 14th, 2023 at 6 p.m. And the approval of the consent agenda will schedule this item for public hearing. And staff recommends approval of consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion about the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Thank you very much.
Consent agenda. Go to that public hearing and talk about that a little bit more. All right, we're back to one more opportunity for public comment. If anybody would like to come back around. Thanks, Kim and Julie, for bringing those photos. It'll be great to see them up close. Last chance, going once, going twice, public comment. All right, hearing none, we'll close public comment. Any other comments from the dais? All right. Thing is, we've gotten to the bottom of this piece of paper and it's only 6:27.
Wow.
We need to get out some cake.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I'll second that.
A motion in 2 seconds. I think that counts as adjourned. Say aye.
Aye.